King Darius has a plan. He appoints 120 officials. They have to rule throughout his whole kingdom. He also appoints 3 administrators over them. One of them is Daniel. The 120 officials are made accountable to the administrators, so that the king might not suffer loss. Daniel does his utmost best in his job, but he knows he cannot do anything without God. That's why every day when he wakes up, he first bows his knees to pray and ask God for help. Do you do that as well? Daniel prays 3 times a day. In the Bible you can even read one of his prayers. He confesses his sins, he confesses the sins of his people, and he pleads on the name of the Lord and his promises. We can learn from his example. Soon it becomes clear that Daniel is the best administrator in the whole country. God has given him exceptional qualities. Now the king wants to set him over the whole kingdom. The other 2 administrators and the officials become very jealous. That is dangerous. Jealousy is a sin and can lead to terrible things. The administrators and the officials try to find ground for charges against Daniel in his conduct. But they don't find anything wrong in Daniel's life. There's no corruption. He is very trustworthy. Can people say that from you as well? At the end, these men say, "We will never find any basis for charges against Daniel, unless it has something to do with the law of his God." They know Daniel is praying 3 times a day. Now they make a plan. Together they go to the king and say, "May King Darius live forever. We, your royal administrators and officials, have all agreed that the king should issue a law. In this law needs to be written that no one is allowed to ask anything from a god, a man or a woman, except from you, your majesty. When anyone disobeys this law, we need to throw him into a pit full of lions." What a bad idea! Will the king do so? Yes, he does. He thinks that makes me very important. The law is written down. And do you know, a law of the Medes and Persians can never be changed. When Daniel hears about the new law that has been published, he goes home. Upstairs he has a room where the windows opened toward Jerusalem, the city from his homeland. Do you see what he does? Just as before, 3 times a day he gets down on his knees and prays, giving thanks to God just as he has done before. Daniel knows it is very important to obey the king or anyone who is above you. But you can never do something that is against God's desire. And God wants us to pray. So when someone asks you to do something against God's will, never obey such a person. Be like Daniel, who puts his trust in the Lord. But do you see, down in the street, there are his enemies. What will happen next?